What if everything you thought you knew about the sister wives' power dynamic was wrong? What if the real story was never about emotion, loyalty, or conflict, but about numbers, decisions, and accountability? Fans believe a quiet shift has happened behind the scenes, and it may change everything. Not with shouting, not with drama, but with questions that cannot be ignored. Stay with me, because once the story starts unfolding, there is no pause, no rewind, and no turning back. We are standing at the edge of a moment that feels bigger than reality television, bigger than gossip, and bigger than anything we have seen unfold in Flagstaff before. Because according to widespread fan theory and ongoing online speculation, a quiet shift has occurred, one that may change the balance of power forever. And what makes this moment so compelling is not shouting, not insults, not confrontation, but silence, calculation, and unanswered questions. For years, viewers watched Christine Brown navigate a complicated family structure where resources, time, and emotional energy often seemed unevenly distributed. And while the show focused on feelings and conflict, the numbers were always lurking in the background, quietly ignored, rarely explained, and never fully addressed. Now, according to theory, everything changes, because when Christine married David Woolley, a man with real-world business experience, a man who understands budgets, contracts, and accountability, fans believed the past stopped being emotional history and started becoming something measurable, something that could be reviewed, something that could be questioned. And that is where the tension begins, because when questions are asked, numbers demand answers, and numbers do not respond to excuses. For years, the family finances were described as pooled, shared, flexible, and complicated. But speculation now suggests that flexibility may not look the same when examined outside the emotional framework of plural marriage and inside the structure of responsibility, particularly when a minor child is involved. And this is why viewers believe this situation feels different, because it is no longer about who felt hurt or who felt neglected. It is about whether support matched ability and whether lifestyle aligned with stated limitations. And once that door opens, it cannot be closed quietly. Fans have long noticed contrasts between statements of scarcity and visible comfort, between claims of struggle and signs of abundance. And while those observations once lived only in comment sections, theory now suggests they may be part of a much larger conversation unfolding behind the scenes. And the reason this moment grips audiences is because it represents a reversal. For years, Kody Brown was the center of authority, the manager of resources, the voice of explanation. But now, speculation suggests he may be facing questions he cannot redirect, questions that do not respond to emotion, loyalty, or narrative control. And that loss of control is unsettling for anyone, but especially for someone accustomed to defining the story. And this is where the suspense locks in, because viewers sense that reactions are changing, stress is visible, and energy feels different. And while nothing has been confirmed, fans believe the mere possibility of transparency has altered behavior, because when accountability enters the room, everyone adjusts. And this adjustment is what viewers are watching in real time. The theories do not suggest chaos for the sake of chaos. They suggest consequence, and consequence is something this story has avoided for a long time. And that is why audiences cannot look away, because they believe they are witnessing the beginning of a reckoning, not driven by anger, but by arithmetic, not driven by revenge, but by responsibility. And the most compelling elements of all is that this theory centers on protection, not punishment, because when the conversation focuses on the well-being of a child, the tone shifts entirely. And fans believe that is why this moment carries weight, because it is difficult to dismiss concern when it is framed around fairness, support, and future security. And as speculation continues to grow, viewers are left with one pressing question. What happens when the past is finally examined, not emotionally, but financially? Because once that examination begins, it does not stop at one answer. It expands outward, touching decisions, purchases, priorities, and patterns. And the deeper it goes, the more it challenges the version of events that has been presented for years. And this is why part one of this unfolding story feels like the calm before something much larger. Because the questions have been asked, the theories are circulating, and the attention is locked. And no matter how this plays out, one truth remains clear. Nothing stays hidden once the math starts to matter. As the speculation deepens, the story moves from the initial shock into a far more intense phase, because once questions are raised, they begin to echo, and those echoes reach places no one expected. And fans now believe that what started as curiosity has evolved into quiet pressure, the kind that does not need cameras or confrontation to be felt. For years, the narrative relied on emotion, explanations, and shifting blame. But according to theory, that approach no longer works when the focus turns to patterns, timelines, and consistency. And this is where the suspense escalates, because viewers sense that behind-the-scenes reactions are no longer performative, but defensive. And when defensiveness appears, it signals that something feels threatened. And the idea circulating among fans is not that anyone is seeking destruction, but that accountability has a way of unsettling those who have avoided it. And this unease is allegedly shaping every interaction, every public appearance, and every choice. Because when you know scrutiny may be coming, you move differently, you speak differently, and you guard yourself more closely. And audiences believe they are seeing that shift now. The theory suggests that lifestyle is at the center of this tension, because lifestyle does not exist in isolation. It reflects access, comfort, and priorities. And when lifestyle appears steady while narratives of limitation persist, it creates a contradiction that invites examination. And this is why fans are re-watching old episodes, noticing details that once seemed insignificant, purchases that raised eyebrows, statements that felt incomplete, and moments where explanations changed depending on the audience. And these details now feel connected, forming a pattern that viewers believe may finally be addressed. And the reason this holds attention is because patterns, once seen, cannot be unseen. And once audiences recognize them, they begin asking harder questions. And those questions drive engagement, speculation, and suspense. The theory further suggests that stress has a compounding effect, because when pressure increases, relationships strain, communication falters, and unity fractures. And viewers believe this is why dynamics feel unstable, because when resources are questioned, trust is tested, and when trust weakens, alliances shift. And this possibility keeps viewers watching, because they're not just observing one storyline, but a potential domino effect that could alter multiple relationships at once. And the most compelling part is that this is unfolding quietly, not with dramatic announcements, with subtle changes, tone shifts, and guarded responses, which makes it feel more real, more serious, and more consequential, because real accountability rarely arrives with theatrics. It arrives with paperwork, silence, and waiting. And waiting is where tension thrives. Fans believe this waiting period is the most dangerous because it allows imagination, fear, and anticipation to grow. And during this time, every move is interpreted, every pause analyzed, and every word weighed. And that scrutiny itself becomes pressure, because knowing you are being watched changes behavior. And this feedback loop between speculation, reaction, and further speculation is what keeps viewers locked in, because the story feeds itself. As part 2 unfolds, the central question grows heavier, not whether something will happen, but how far it could go. Because once transparency begins, it does not isolate itself. It expands outward, touching other narratives, other relationships, and other unresolved issues. And fans are now wondering whether others connected to the past are paying attention, because accountability rarely benefits only one person. And if clarity is achieved, it may reshape multiple histories at once. And this possibility elevates the stakes, because it suggests that what is happening now may not be contained to one storyline, but could redefine redefine the entire legacy of what viewers thought they understood. And this is why the suspense remains unbroken, because the audience senses they are watching the slow turning of a wheel that once fully rotated cannot be reversed. And the closer it gets to completion, the louder the consequences become. And even without confirmation, the weight of that possibility is enough to keep eyes on the screen, because when truth and narrative collide, something always gives, and no one knows yet what that will be. Carries weight because people explain when they feel in control, and they retreat when they feel observed. And audiences believe the shift into guardedness reveals more than any monologue ever could, because actions stripped of justification tell the clearest truth. And the truth many fans see is that narratives once protected by emotion are now being measured against reality, and reality does not bend to storytelling. The theory suggests that independence has altered the balance more than conflict ever did, because independence removes leverage, and when leverage disappears, so does the ability to manipulate perception. And viewers believe that is why the tone feels final, because once someone no longer needs approval or access, the old dynamics lose relevance. And this change resonates deeply with audiences who recognize that true freedom often arrives quietly, without announcements, without drama, and without the need to prove anything. And that quiet confidence stands in stark contrast to the visible strain elsewhere, because strain appears when control slips, and when control slips, fear often follows. And fear reshapes behavior, making it reactive rather than deliberate. And fans believe they are seeing that play out now in subtle ways that feel unscripted and real. As the story reaches this point, it becomes less about predicting outcomes and more about understanding transformation, because whatever happens next cannot undo what has already shifted, and that permanence is what gives this chapter its weight. Because growth, once achieved, cannot be reversed, and awareness, once gained, cannot be erased. And viewers sense that this awareness has spread beyond one person, influencing relationships, expectations, and future choices in ways that will ripple outward long after the camera stops rolling. In the end, this is why the story holds attention, not because of scandal or spectacle, but because it mirrors real-life transitions where power changes hands, not through force, but through release. And when someone lets go of the need to explain, defend, or convince, they often gain more than they ever lost. And that realization is what makes this conclusion feel earned, inevitable, and quietly transformative, leaving audiences with the understanding that some endings do not explode, they simply settle into place. And once they do, nothing ever feels the same again. At the end of the day, this story is not about rumors or sides. It is about accountability and what happens when the past is finally examined through facts instead of feelings. Whatever the outcome, one thing is certain: the dynamic has changed forever, and once transparency enters the picture, nothing stays hidden. The next chapter will decide everything, and when it arrives, it will redefine the story we thought we knew.